There's a lot of confusion about creativity. Most of us have been brought up thinking that creativity means having great mastery of an art form. Creativity is the work done by legendary performers, those artists we put on pedestals and admire, the icons of culture whose legendary stature we could never touch. But that's not true. We're conflating creativity with recognition of achievement. Creativity itself is something anyone can access. It's a part of our nature as humans. Creativity is not mastery. Creativity does not mean greatness. It does not require genius. It does not imply executing a preconceived plan to perfection. Creativity is play. Creativity is experimentation. Creativity is following your curiosity to find out what happens. Creativity is asking, what if? What if I ask you, where does creativity come from? What's the source of creative inspiration? Have you ever thought about it? It's funny, we seem to get lots of education in how to edit our work in school, how to judge ours and other people's ideas, and how to critique everything under the sun. But we get no training whatsoever in how to generate creative ideas. I think one of the reasons for that is that nobody really knows how to explain what creativity is and where it comes from, let alone how to teach it. Plato wrote, "The man who arrives at the doors of artistic creation with none of the madness of the muses would be convinced that technical ability alone was enough to make an artist. What that man creates by means of reason will pale before the art of inspired beings." He's talking about the spark of life that the works of true artists have, but skilled technicians lack. But it's not just masterful artists who have that spark. The art of children usually has it. It's a genuine, raw, spontaneous expression of something inside us at the moment. It's an expression of our humanity, free of self-doubt. As adults, we've often been long conditioned to suppress that kind of spontaneous, authentic self-expression. Somewhere along the line, we might have done something with our creative inspiration that got us ridiculed or shamed. We learned to be more cautious, and rightfully so. But if we've suppressed that long enough, we might start to believe we don't have the capacity to be truly, freely, expressively creative. We might decide we're not very creative, or that our creative ideas just aren't good enough to merit being expressed. So we feel awed by artists who have retained their creativity and demonstrate it boldly. We think they must really be something special. But the truth is, we all are truly that special. The only thing standing in the way of your creativity is you. Because creative inspiration has been so hard for people to describe, it's often been personified as an ephemeral or imaginary woman called the muse, who comes along when she feels like it and inspires the artist from time to time. The muse is a metaphor for the source of creative inspiration. But what is that source really? It's the part of us that makes us different from all other life on Earth. It's an intrinsic part of our humanity that's different for each of us. It's one of the things, like our fingerprints and our faces, that makes us utterly unique. Instead of thinking of the source of creativity as a muse, suggesting something external to us, I prefer to think of it as something that's inextricably part of us. I call the source of my creative inspiration my creative spirit. I think of a creative spirit as the intangible part of a person, which is put into motion when creative activity occurs. In my view, our creative spirits are as much a part of us as our right arms, our left arms, our livers, and our legs. You could certainly live with a broken arm. You could even just opt not to use it. If you do that, it will atrophy and become pretty non-functional after a while. But it is a part of you, and without it, or without the regular use of it, you will feel its loss. You might feel unbalanced, not completely whole. It's the same with your creative spirit. Another thing we have trouble defining is intuition. Yet most people would concede that intuition is quite real. Almost everyone can remember a time when they had a gut feeling that wasn't based on any conscious information they had, but it turned out to be exactly right. Intuition can speak to us when we are clueless about something that we need to know. It often comes into play in emergency situations. There's a reason for the phrase, a mother's intuition. I think of intuition as a form of communication from a part of us that isn't consciously aware. For our purposes, we will call it the communication of the subconscious. The subconscious knows a lot of things that the conscious mind does not. It's my opinion that our creative spirits speak to us using intuition as a means of communication. Learning to hear or sense our intuition is a huge help in creative work of any kind. And learning to understand our intuition has many useful applications outside of creativity as well. In the context of creativity, you could also call intuition your muse. You could call it a spiritual union with God or the divine. You could consider it anything you want that is a benevolent force endeavoring to help you with your creative work by nudging you in the right direction. Intuition is the term I will be using from here on out on this channel. It'll be useful for us to be on the same page regarding what I mean by these terms as we continue on in future discussions about developing creativity and accessing creative inspiration. To review, here are the terms we've discussed so far. Creative spirit, the part of you that is creative, and the source of your inspiration. Sometimes I use this term interchangeably with creativity. Intuition, the means by which your creative spirit communicates with the rest of you. In future videos, I'm going to tell you exactly how to develop the skill of listening to your intuition and understanding its suggestions. I'm going to show you an easy, foolproof way to access creative inspiration anytime you want. I'm going to teach you things you won't find anywhere else about making your creative work one of the easiest, most enjoyable things you do in your day. I'm so excited to share these things with you. I hope you'll subscribe to my channel so you won't miss any of these immensely practical, helpful strategies for maximizing your creative potential and enjoying this whole deep, beautiful, unique layer of who you are. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a beautiful day with your creativity. See you next time.